Hello, everybody, and welcome to our channel. I'm Mark,
And I'm Rob.
and today we're going to talk about the fact that Caitlin Clark's 35 points last night was more than any game that Sheryl Swoopes ever had in her WNBA career, and other things related to the relationship between the two of them. And hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Hit the notification bell when you do. If you like Caitlin Clark, subscribe to our channel. If you like that fact that the WN playoffs are coming up, subscribe to our channel. If you like football, subscribe to our channel. Anyways, Rob, so Caitlin Clark scored 35 points, a career high, and career high for Sheryl Swoopes is 34. So people kind of like that because now everybody but Clark haters hate Sheryl Swoopes because she's a racist and she keeps trying to minimize Caitlin Clark and put her down.
Mm-hmm.
And this all started, Rob. I think part of it started is because Sheryl Swoopes didn't make a lot of money in the WNBA, and she's also, like I said, a racist. And so, she's jealous and envious of Caitlin Clark, and that's all part of it. And Clark gets all this attention and money and extra money for the endorsements. It all started in 2023 in the NCAA tournament when, in the finals, Clark broke Sheryl Swoopes' record for most points in the NCAA tournament. Now, to be fair to Sheryl Swoopes, she did it in 5 games because they only played 5 games back then. There was 32 teams instead of 64. So in the finals, she scored 30, and she ended up with 191 points. So she broke them in. But Sheryl Swoopes scored 177, but did it in 5 games. So Sheryl Swoopes averaged 35.4 points per game, and she also scored 47 in the finals to lead them, Texas Tech, to a championship over Ohio State. And Caitlin Clark also broke Glenn Rice's record for most points. It was 184. Clark averaged in her 5 games, 31.8. So, Sheryl Swoopes could have just looked at it like this. All right, she's got the most points, and I have the highest average per game because I only played 5 games. And not be affected by it. Say, she could even, I wouldn't even mind if she made that comment, Rob. In fact,
Yeah,
I might make that
I mean,
comment.
she could have made that comment, which is true, but then she could have said, congrats, good to you, great, way to go, just hey, that's good for you, that's great. She's going to be a good ball player. But no.
I don't even know if she made a comment about that particular incident. She didn't make the comment until the next year that got her in trouble. So I guess that was bothering her for a year. The fact that Caitlin Clark had 6 games and she had 5. I guess. I don't know. All I know is the next year she goes on Gilbert Arenas is what I call disaster cast. And she says 3 things that are wrong. Everybody knows what they are. And then she gets in a lot of trouble for that. And then says black people can't be racist. She gets a lot of trouble for that. And then she says Clark is a bully because she pushes off. And then she talks about the fever and doesn't really give Caitlin Clark any credit twice for them winning. twice she went up, and then she got taken off the Dallas podcast. So people hate her, or Caitlin Clark fans at least. Like the only people that like her are like Cindy Bronson and all the Clark haters.
Right. Right. I mean, she did interview her in the preseason game.
And Clark was nice to her. In fact, and then she lied about apologizing. She didn't really apologize to Caitlin Clark. And Caitlin Clark took the high road and gave her compliments. So this is a one-way hatred. Caitlin Clark has said nothing bad or done anything to Sheryl Swoopes, which is why this is so disgusting. Now, other people get excited because they say Caitlin Clark's rookie year is actually better than Sheryl Swoopes' MVP years. Now, I'm not sure that's true, but I want to defend Sheryl Swoopes a little bit because Sheryl Swoopes was an excellent defender as well as a very good scorer. And I think her legacy is ruined by what she's done in terms of putting down Caitlin Clark. And also, I think she's going to go down underrated because she won 4 championships with Cynthia Cooper. And Cynthia Cooper, especially if you don't like Sheryl Swoopes, gets all the credit for those championships. She was finals MVP all 4 times they won the championship. Now, I want to give some background to that. The first 2 years they won the championship, Cynthia Cooper was the MVP of the league. She was 34 and 35 years old. She had played in Europe for 10 years and was the leading scorer in the league for 8 years out of 10. She played with Cheryl Miller at USC. But she had all this international experience, a lot of pro experience. So she had an advantage over all the WNBA players, even though she really wasn't in her prime age-wise. She was very skilled at that point. The next year, Sheryl Swoopes is second in the MVP voting when they won their third championship. Leona Griffith won the MVP. And the next year, Sheryl Swoopes won the MVP, but she didn't win the finals MVP. So she gets like no credit, even though she was the best player in the team, their third and fourth championship, but not their first and second. But she wasn't the best player in the finals, so she gets people don't give her any credit. And so now, because those are only 4 championships, she's going to go down as underrated, even though she was a 3-time MVP and 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. So I want to defend her in that sense.
So do you think that's? I know that from experience that women don't tend to let things go like men.
Maybe that's. You mean the whole year that was bothering her for a year that she broke her record?
I would probably say so.
It was simmering. It was simmering over the jet, Rob, for like a year. Just little bubbles there coming up, and then all of a sudden,
they don't forget.
She's breaking the all-time scoring record. This is driving me crazy. She's getting all this publicity, and that's when she got even more publicity, Rob. She started getting more NLI money, and I think that bothered Swoopes because Swoopes didn't make any money.
I'm telling you, Mark, that's how it works. I'm just talking from experience. I know how it works.
Well, we should mention before I forget, Sheryl Swoopes was coach at Loyola, I think it was, and 10 out of 12 players said she was abusive. She got fired. She was disgusting, apparently, there, the way she treated the players. I might have mentioned that, just for sake of completeness, that Sheryl Swoopes is not a good person in other ways also, in terms of coaching. I have no idea whether she was a good coach in other ways, but I will say, in terms of the stats, Rob, her first MVP year, the stats were pretty impressive. I will say that. But, she has fewer turnovers and fewer assists than Clark. But her first MVP year was pretty impressive. She averaged 20.7 points. And she also had 6.3 rebounds, 3.8 assists, 2.81 steals, 1.1 blocks, and only 2.62 turnovers. She shot 0.506%. She also, her 2-point percentage was 5.37, and her 3-point shooting was 374. That's an impressive year.
Yes,
I can't say Caitlin Clark's rookie year is better than that. Her other 2 years weren't quite as impressive, but she was Defensive Player of the Year in 2 out of her 3 times that she was MVP, and she was runner-up Defensive Player of the Year, and that her 3rd time she won MVP.
And that's the sad part, Mark. That's the sad thing that for you want to be remembered for certain things, and unfortunately now people just remember her for what she said. Now, which is sad. Right.
No, she was a great player in college and in pros. Now in college, if you want to compare a little bit, in college, Sheryl Swoopes played junior college her first 2 years, and then transferred to Texas Tech, and then was first team All-American 2 years in a row, and was Player of the Year 1 time. And again, she led Texas Tech to the championship. And they didn't have a stacked team like UConn and Tennessee. So that's very impressive. Caitlin Clark, however, was 4 times first-team All-American according to U.S. Basketball Writers Association, 3 times according to AP. They made her second-team All-American her freshman year for some strange reason. She was also 2-time Player of the Year. So she was 4-time All-American, Caitlin Clark. So she had a slightly – and she led a team to the finals twice but didn't win. So I think Caitlin Clark was a better college player than Sheryl Swoopes, but Sheryl Swoopes was an excellent college player. What she did was pretty impressive. 47 points in the finals, Rob, and they won by 2.
I remember. Like I said, I wasn't. I like all kinds of basketball, but I was watching basketball back then. I was like, wow, she's really dominant. She's deep.
Right, but I will say that women's basketball wasn't as good back then, and because they didn't start is the same years that men did. Men started having talented players in the 60s and 70s. The women, I don't think it was. Like they basically started playing in the 70s in terms of college. And so they weren't going to be as strong back in Sheryl Swoopes' era. But, you got to play against who you play against. So I'm not going to dwell on that.
Right.
But the defenders today, the athletes are better today in the WNBA. The defenders are better. They still can't make layups. But she didn't have the type of defense that they do now in the WNBA. So I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and try to compare her rookie year to her MVP years and then put Sheryl Swoopes down for that reason. I'm just going to say she's a terrible person. She's a racist. And there's no reason for how she's treated Caitlin Clark. And there's no reason, and I'm going to emphasize this, there's no reason that the WNBA should have hired her, which is essentially what they did since they're paying her for a podcast, to be on the podcast after the comments she made about Caitlin Clark to show that she's not objective. If you're going to be, even if in our podcast, I think it's silly for you to not be objective, because then no one takes you seriously when you give an opinion. And the whole point of doing that is to give an opinion and to give a knowledgeable, valuable opinion. And she's not objective, so her opinion's meaningless. And why do you pay someone to give a meaningless opinion?
Right.
It was unfair to, a star player.
Well, it's unfair to your audience. If you're trying to attract the audience, that's what you have on a podcast with somebody else. And that it's for her, but you're also attracting, what she's saying is, like I said, is reflection on the league. She's representing the league. So when she says silly comments and dumb comments like that, people listening will be like, why the hell is this person what is she doing? How did she get this job? I can do better than that.
Right. I mean, yeah, she does commentary in the Dallas. And it was so bad that her comments about Clark is that Dallas decided, and the league decided, no, Caitlin Clark game, she's not going to do that. And they put Nancy Lieberman in there instead of her. And they did the right thing. But again, she shouldn't be doing any podcast or any commentary for the league, because she shows that she can't be objective, which means she has no value, which means it makes the league look embarrassing. Mm-hmm. And I don't care how much of a legend, which I just told you, I think she's probably underrated, but she's just not, it's not a good commentator. She's a disgusting person. That's all I can say. Yeah. And I'm glad any Caitlin Clark records that she breaks of Sheryl Swoopes, I'm happy, because I don't like Sheryl Swoopes. But I'm still going to be objective about her playing ability.
And it seems to just make her more angry, which makes her an angry black woman, an old angry black woman, which, Mark, the thing is, she makes these comments and she's like that, and she actually has people supporting her, which is kind of whack.
Right, like Cindy Brunson. And you can see that she has this great relationship with Angel Reese and keeps saying great things about Angel Reese. So you can see that it's because of Caitlin Clark's skin color. You can see it. It's obvious. So, and it's obvious she's jealous of her and envious of her, and that's why she says
and
all
for
this
no reason. And like I said, it's for no reason. It's okay. Somebody's eventually going to break your record, and if it happened to be a white person, so deal with it. She wouldn't. So I mean, if it was, let's do it like you always do. What if Caitlin Clark was black and she broke those records? Would she be going off on her? She'd be praising her. She'd
they'd be best friends, Rob.
Oh yeah, she'd have on the podcast every day. They'd be best buddies.
Right. So it's that's all I have to say about Sheryl Swoopes. I defended her enough that I'm going to the point about playing.
Yeah, that's enough.
But I'm not defending her as a person or as a broadcaster or a podcast or anything that she's done, because it really is a bad look for the league, Sheryl Swoopes, and they need to get rid of her and say, go hide away, go into the pasture or something like that. You have shown you do not deserve to be saying anything about the WNBA right now. You can come back in 20 years when Caitlin Clark is retired, when you're not such a, so biased and everything like that. Right. But it's useless. It's useless to be that biased and to be. I can't believe the WNBA is paying her.
Pretty pathetic.
That bothers me, Rob. It really does. Yeah. And that's more important to me than whether or not Caitlin Clark's rookie year is better than her MVP years. It really is. Mm-hmm. And so, anyways, let us know what you think. Are we being too hard on Sheryl Swoopes? Are we too nice to her?
Huh.
If you like Sheryl Swoopes, subscribe to her channel. If you don't like her, which is a lot more likely, subscribe to her channel. If you like Caitlin Clark, subscribe to her channel. If you like football, subscribe to her. Just subscribe. We need 5,000 subscribers. We've only been around since April. If you're wondering why we only have 4,500 something subscribers, that's why. We've been growing pretty fast, actually. If you like Rob's green shirt or my blue shirt, subscribe to our channel. Just subscribe. I give you enough reasons to subscribe. If you like this video, hit the like button. Join us Thursday night against the Washington Mystics at 7:30 on Prime Video against Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark. Then, of course, join us for at least 2 playoff games. And we don't have the dates for them, but we'll live telecast for that. Our normal live shows tonight. If my voice holds up, it's 6 to 8 Eastern time. And join us for that. And if you like this video, hit the like button. And if you want to donate to this channel, there's super chats and super thanks down below. And there's a link to PayPal. And we'll see you in the next video.
Peace out.